Good Monday morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is the 13th of May and this recording is done from the home office, and today we'll start with a Danish company, Maersk Shipping. Maersk is jumping higher this morning. We were closed here in Denmark Thursday and Friday, so it jumped higher on shipping rates. Key resistance at 11,400, 11,550, sorry, and this is the gap area. It's back from the gap area here in February early this year. That is key. If it does close above 11,400 and especially above 11,550, well, then there's potential up to close the gap, and that would mean it needs to close above 12,185. But as we can see here, the 200 moving average coming down here is actually knocking it down a little bit. So the next couple of days could be key. RSI is in a positive sentiment. There's no divergence indicating we are likely to push higher in the short term. But let's see, it's still a strong resistance area around these levels. S&P 500 slowly moving towards all-time highs at 5,265. If it does take it out with the close, well, then there's potential up to around 5,400. We are positive sentiment on the RSI. We are above the cloud. We are above 786 retracement. So all indicators are pointing to higher levels on S&P 500, at least short term. On the Nasdaq 100, it's a little bit more blurry picture. Yes, we did close just above the cloud here Friday, around the 786 retracement, but as we can see here is that the RSI is still below 60 threshold, so it hasn't confirmed the positive or the bullish trend. So if it does that, well, then I would say, okay, then we are likely to push higher towards 19,000. But let's see, it is struggling a little bit. What is not struggling at the moment is the European markets. We have Eurostoxx 50 pushing higher towards its all-time high here at 51.22. I think we could see a push towards 5,200 is indicated by these arrows here, where it is derived. We talked about this before. It's derived from this correction here and this range trading behavior that is just pushed higher. DAX really strong lately, also pushing higher, potential up to 19,000. Probably a little bit more, 19,150, around that level we could see. Seems very strong. Beginning to get beginning to see some divergence here. This RSI value is lower than this one over here, so maybe we are a little bit in it actually is an indication of being in exhaustive mood, but it can still continue a little bit further. Another index that has been very strong lately, stronger than most, is the Amsterdam index, pushing towards the 161.8 projection at 1917. Could push higher. Positive sentiment on the RSI, minor divergence, but it's still maybe it could cancel it. Let's see here next couple of days, especially if it's pushing higher towards 1925. CAC 40 Friday touched the all-time highs here at 82.53. A little bit of a setback, but we are in a positive sentiment. We are in a bullish trend, so we could push higher. If it takes it out, well, then there's potential up towards 8,500. Finally, the Swiss market, very close to its all-time highs here, just below 11,800. I think it will be testing that level fairly shortly. Positive RSI, no divergence on the strength indicator, indicating we're likely to see higher levels on SMI 20. Moving on to the FX market and euro dollar as usual. It is a little bit frustrating. It is indecisive, it seems. Strong resistance overhead here at the 55 and the 200 moving average. You can see once again it got rejected right there, but it's still holding on above the 107. If we do see a break below 107, I think we'll see it being hit by a sell-off down to around 106.46, possibly all the way down to 106. taking out the 9th of May low at 107.23 could be the trigger that push it lower. Cable also a little bit indecisive. Bounced after spiking below 124.66 and the 38.2 retracement there at 124.56. So I still believe we will see it pushing lower in the coming days and weeks, because RSI is still in a negative sentiment. It needs to break above and close above 60 for us all to turn around switch that picture. We have the all the moving averages. I mean, we have the 100, we have the 55, and have 200. It's trading below that, and they're all declining. So the underlying sentiment is bearish. We should see cable pushing lower, but again, there's no certainties. It's just about possibilities. Dollar yen slowly crawling higher towards the 50% of the sell-off. There's still potential up to 157 and 158.5. That at least is what the RSI is telling me. If we can get RSI to close back above 60, that will really reinforce this bounce we have seen in all the yen pairs, by the way. Euro yen also crawling higher towards the 61.8 retracement, 168.75, but it still has potential up to around 170, with the RSI not having any divergence and is in a bullish positive sentiment. Aussie yen, same picture. Short term being rejected at the 61.8 retracement at 103. We could see a little bit of a setback, but also here RSI is telling me we should push higher towards 103.90, 104. On the sterling yen is lacking the other ones a little bit, but still potential up to at least 197.10, which is the 61.8 retracement. Positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. We should see it pushing higher, and also with the bullish engulfing we have there, that is a bottom and reversal pattern. Aussie dollar still holding on, but key resistance at 66.50, around that level. If it does close above, well, I would actually say if it breaks above, I expect a move up to 67.5. But I think over the next few days, I still think it will slide back lower. But it could maybe also be called range bound. So you have the 100 moving average coming down there. We have 55 coming up here, and now also the 200 is starting to slowly rising. So we could actually be called range bound around the 65.50 in this range between 65 and 66.5. Dollar Canada. Is it a flag, or is it's still a little bit indecisive? I would say 136.18. If it does break below that, well, then we could see a push lower to 135. But we have some support here. We have the cloud support. We also have the moving averages, the 200 and the 100 moving average, and RSI actually in a positive sentiment, and there is no divergence. I do expect a bullish breakout with a potential up to 139. Moving on to Swiss franc has been fairly boring lately. Sideways trend here, Euro Swiss, 98.35 to the upside. That's the key resistance. 96.75 around that level. That's the key support. It needs to break out. I think the breakout will be to the upside, but I need confirmation. Also, I need to have RSI closing above 60 for confirmation. Dollar Swiss, 90 is the key support. Keep an eye on that one. And the dollar index 104.84 did spike below, but closed above every single time. Still above the rising trend line. It's not that strong. 104.84 is the key support. On the commodities, we have gold pushing higher Friday, actually closing above minor resistance at 23.53. So now we are actually back in bullish trend. We also had the RSIs back above 60 right there. Now it's actually a little bit below, a little bit of a setback. So it won't be a slam dunk, it is just moving higher. But I think we'll see a push towards the 786 retracement at just around 2400. What will happen there? That's going to be interesting, because we're still having this negative divergence, indicating we are in an exhaustive trend, or the trend is in exhaustion mode. So we should have seen a larger correction, but bids are really strong in gold, and I think we'll push higher towards 2400. If it takes out 2300, well, then we could see a push below to 2250. Silver was more, I should say, front running it a little bit, because it actually bounced earlier last week, and the massive move late last week towards the 61.8 retracement really got everything fired up on the metals, especially precious metals, maybe pulling gold up a little bit. Uptrend is back. Positive RSI despite divergence. Still potential up to previous peaks. Could it get up to $30? Hard to say. But if it takes out the peak from Friday at 28.77, yes, then I believe so. Copper also pushing higher, but didn't close higher Friday. If it does close above 470, expect a push up to 490, 500. On the energy side, really not much to report. I mean, we have WTI actually did close below the lower rising trend line here Friday, bouncing a little bit this morning. Maybe that was it. We still have a little bit of support here around the $77. If it takes out the 76.89, well, then expect a sell-off down to around 75. Otherwise, expect range bound. The picture is more or less the same on Brent crude oil. Still above 81.40, 42 support. I mean, this range trading area, consolidation area, this is what we're trading, and we could be stuck in that for quite a bit actually. But if we can get Brent back above 84.75, we could maybe see a little bit of a push higher, but not that much. Finally, on the US Treasury yields, we have also a little bit sideways range here for about a week now, still above the lower rising trend line. Could dip down to 439, which is the 61.8 retracement, but if it closes below 434, well, then maybe we have a completely new situation. But still, we have the 200 moving average also giving some support. So I think we will slowly be crawling higher in the coming days and weeks. But I need a new. I really need a new signal to really get me some direction. I need the RSI back above 60 or below 40. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.